Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Simply Snyder. Thanks for tuning in. Today I am going to be doing a review on the Accelerated Christian Education's Kindergarten with Ace and Christi program. I am a homeschool mom to two kids. I have a 9-year-old in 3rd grade and a 5-year-old doing kindergarten this year. I have used the kindergarten program. This is my 2nd time using it now. Very excited you guys could tune in with me. If you guys like this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot of reviews from some of the stuff that I've used lately, and I hope it helps you guys out. I know that there are numerous curriculum options out there. I've also found that it's very helpful to me as a homeschool mom hearing what other moms and homeschoolers use and what they like or don't like about a program. So that's my goal, is to give you my experience on this, give you a little more information about this curriculum to help you make that decision as to whether or not this is going to be right for you and your family. So let's get started. So first, the Kindergarten with Ace and Christi program is definitely 100% parent or teacher led. You get 4 very large binders that have basically everything teaching wise you need. It's got a full script. It's broken down by week and day for you, so it's really easy to follow along. One of the things I love about it, this video is going to contain what I think are some good things about that, some bad things about that, how I used this program with my son a few years ago when he was in kindergarten, and how I'm using it now with my daughter and what kind of things I have changed between the two. You know how you learn from your experiences. So I'll give you some of my experiences and what I've learned. I'm also going to let you know what the different subjects cover, I think this would be a good program for, how much it costs, how I make it work in my homeschool. Anytime you're starting with the Kindergarten Ace and Christi program, it can be used for a 3- and 4-year-old, kind of like a pre-K program or a day school. It's geared towards a school setting, but definitely can be used in a homeschool setting. So the first thing that they're going to have you do is the ABCs with Ace and Christi pretest. Now this test is for anyone who is going to be 5 or 6 years old that has not been in a school setting yet. So if they got all 18 of these right, then you go on to test B. And depending on how high they score on test B, if they score high enough, they will automatically skip kindergarten and go to the 1st grade ready to read program. If not, they go through the kindergarten program. So that's your starting point, okay? So now, assuming your kid is going to start the kindergarten program, this is what you're looking at. Like I said, you're gonna get the 4 teachers binders, okay? You can purchase them as one binder at a time if you just wanna try this curriculum out, and you can buy the paces one at a time to just give it a try. That way you're not dropping all your money into a curriculum that may or may not work for you, but hopefully this video will help you in making that decision. The 2 places I would go to look for the curriculum would be either A, straight from the Accelerated Christian Education website, or the christianbook.com website, both of which are awesome. Or you can go to your local homeschool convention, which is usually during the summer. I'm in Virginia, so it's always the 1st or 2nd weekend in June. I know when I go, I can usually get between a 10 and I want to say, don't quote me on this, I want to say it was like a 20% discount last year. They give you the coupon code at the convention for being there, and then you call in and place the order. But your cost for this program, if you go, not counting the discount, if you went through christianbook.com to get the teacher's kit plus all 60 paces, not counting tax or shipping, would be about $483, okay? And we'll talk about what's all included in the teacher's kit in a minute. Now, if you go through the Accelerated Christian Education page to get the full teacher kit and student kit, it's going to be about $356, not counting tax or shipping. So difference there. So that's a plus. And like I said, if you don't want to put all that out at once, you can get it 1/4 at a time. So 1/4 is essentially one binder, okay? And then you would order your paces separately. Now, what is a pace, you ask? A pace is what your student works in. It's their student workbooks. And they're gonna have 12 of these in each subject for the whole year. And I will cover what's in each of those in a minute. But these are their paces. They have one pace in each subject at a time. This program, like I said, it is geared towards a teacher setting. So ideally this would be for a half-day kindergarten classroom where a teacher starts at 8 a.m. and then the kids get out around noon. So it has recess built in and bathroom breaks and fruit snack breaks and other such things. For me in my homeschool, I personally don't do it when they say. I do it when we need it because sometimes we do school in the morning and sometimes we do school in the afternoon. It just depends on the day. But what's included with that teacher's kit? There is one for each week. So how it works is your student is going to learn one animal, one sound per week. And then everything they do reinforces that phonics lesson. So if you look right here, this is O copy. So they are learning the O sound of O. Earlier they learned ostrich and the ah sound for O. Now in kindergarten with this program, they are enforcing learning the sounds, not that that is the letter O. It is the sound O. So O copy says O or ostrich says ah, but not that it's the letter O. They will learn that in first grade. So if you are comparing what your kindergartner is doing right now versus what a public school kindergartner is doing right now, it may feel like your child is behind, because I felt that way with both of my kids, because they don't know the letter names and they aren't memorizing sight words yet. But after my son finished the Learn to Read program, which is the first grade program. So everything they learn in kindergarten is teaching those phonics sounds. Then first grade is the first 12 weeks, they learn how to put it all together. They learn the names and sounds and putting those sounds together to form words. And it was just amazing how quickly he picked up reading because of the way it was taught. That's my experience. I'm not saying that's every child or that's everybody's experience. That was my experience with it. You also have the number train. So they will slowly learn to count their numbers. They're going to start with concentrating at the beginning of the year, 0 through 10, and we are learning this on a train. So it makes it super fun for the kids. And if you can see behind me, right here, you can see all of our cars on the train. Now you can't see the start, like the engine is the 0 through 10, and then we add one of the cars for the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and then we get all the way down. So this is the 90 card, and then our caboose is number 100. So by the end of the year, they're gonna learn to count to 100. They're gonna count by ones, and they're gonna count by tens. You get a CD. So like I said, each week they're gonna learn a sound, they're gonna get an animal, they're gonna learn a story about that animal, and they're gonna learn a song that reinforces that sound and that story. So you're gonna get the CD that goes with it. Abby Antelope, let's go with that one. Very first letter they learn is A says ah. And my daughter's name is Abby, so she was thrilled when we started this. So she learned ah, ah, ah. Antelope reads ah, and then it goes into the song. And the songs are very fun and they have motions and it reinforces the story. The tacky taffy stuck so fast that Abby Antelope just gasped. And then in verse 2 it's Miss Abby Antelope can't stand the tacky taffy on her hands. It's a fun way to reinforce it because you can listen to the CD in the car. I downloaded it on my daughter's tablet so she listens to it and I'll say, hey, go do your ABC songs. And it has the sounds. So it'll go through ah, ah, ah. Antelope reads ah, ah, ah. And it'll say it 3 times before doing the songs. So it'll go through the sound 3 times and then the song once and then it'll go on to the next. And if you have a child that really likes to sing or dance, they might really enjoy it because it's a great way to reinforce those sounds. It comes with this. Pardon me. Salvation Songs for Children. Now, I personally do not use this, and it's basically kind of like a hymnal. It has the music for you. It has the lyrics, so you can use it or not use it. I choose not to use it, but that's just me. But that comes with the kit. Then you have, okay, if you get it through ACE, you get the paces with it. If you get it through Christian books, you have to buy the paces separately. Keep that in mind. So with ACE, it has the 60 paces that you need for the full year. It has the student set, which is a coordination development test. And it's basically a bunch of different physical activities to see if your child is developing the way they should. Okay, there's a growth chart, so your kid can keep track of them, they're growing each year. And I used it for a little while with my son, and then with my daughter I didn't, because we have a different growth chart. So we mark on the wall, so I didn't use that. They have Bible stickers, Bible stars, master record sheet, and progress reports. Now with my son, I basically tried to emulate school. So I did the progress reports, I kept the master record sheet, and I did all that stuff. With my daughter, it's kind of like that diaper commercial. You live, you learn, you get loves. You know, you're very cautious with the first kid, you're not so cautious with the second kid. So with my son, I wanted to do everything perfect, everything right, because I was proving to everybody I can homeschool. Like this will be okay. I can do this. You know, you have that judgment of, oh, what are you doing? You're going to ruin your child. Why are you homeschooling? And then you second guess yourself. Why am I doing this? As you're pulling your hair out, because some days are rough. Let's just be honest. And so with my daughter, I don't give her a sticker every time she finishes a pace. I don't give her the Bible sticker. We don't do the Bible verses every week because we do go to Awana, and I just found that what she was trying to memorize in Awana and what she was trying to memorize with this was just too much. So we don't do that. So I don't keep the sticker chart. For some kids, stickers are very motivational. My daughter is much more motivated by candy. So that is my motivation for her, to sit down, listen, behave, participate, do her best. I motivate her with candy. Please don't judge me. Okay, so that's what's included in the paces. Okay, moving on. So lockstep, things I didn't like. There was a lot that I don't use from it because it is repetitive or geared more towards the school, such as daily pledges to the flag, the Christian flag, the Bible, and then a monthly song. I don't do that every day. I tried it with my son. School was literally taking us all day. And I don't mean like the 4 hours that it suggested from 8 to 12. I mean, it was taking all day with my son. It was pulling teeth to get him to do anything. But at that point in time, I wasn't comfortable like, no, we have to do everything because that's what it says in the book. So we have to do everything. But with my daughter, I learned I have that freedom to choose what is best and what is not best. So I don't make her do everything. Now, my kids do know how to say the pledge to the American flag. They do know how to say the pledge to the Christian flag. But once they learned it, I'm not still making them do it every single day. That's just me. If you do that, kudos to you. I'm just struggling to get through the day some days. I also don't follow their calendar lessons. I kind of do my own. So at the beginning of the year, it gets you to just kind of teach the calendar in a certain way so that kids learn what the days of the week are, and then the months of the year, and then all that stuff, and what a calendar is. Like, okay, if this is today, this is our special day, and these days are school days, and then these days are weekends, and this is a church day. I just kind of did my own thing with that. I have one of those Melissa and Doug magnetic calendars. I found a couple of songs. We do our own thing for the calendar, so I skip that. I don't do the fruit break. They have some role play stuff. I don't do a lot of the role play stuff because oftentimes it requires multiple people. I don't do the skits. I don't do most of the Bible songs. Please don't judge me. Like I said, we don't do the scripture memory. Now, I think the scripture verses that they have are wonderful, and the way they have them presented is wonderful because they have motions for them to help the kids remember what it is and then what comes next, but it slowly adds one line at a time, which can be a lot for a kindergartner. I will say that. Some kids are better than others. My son, he picked up on it really well. My daughter, not so much. I tried it with the first ones, and then like I said, we do a Awana every week. So between that and then what they were doing at Awana, it was just a lot of memorization. So I had to choose one or the other to make our lives simpler, and we chose the Awana to go with it for them. So don't do the scripture memory. I don't do the designated recess breaks. My kids do go play outside, but we finished English. We've only been teaching for 10 minutes, so let's go have recess now. Nope, we'll get to recess when we get there. They do have many art projects, which some of their art projects are a lot of fun. I brought 2 examples with me. So when she did Gary Goldfish, they made this little goldfish fish tank, which was really cool. She loved that. That was one of her favorites. And then she kind of made it a fish bowl. We put the cling wrap over it, so that was cool. When she did duck, we made a duck. So they have some very fun art projects. I do not do all of them. Sometimes I substitute something else out that I have found that I like better, and sometimes we just skip it all together because life is busy. Like I said, I don't do the progress reports and I don't do the star charts. That's just me. But I do find that with this curriculum, there is a lot of good info on how to teach this stuff. Especially if you are a first-time homeschooler, you're a first-time teacher, this is very easy to follow. There's a handful of times I've had questions like, what do I do here? I just don't know. But for the most part, I think this program was great in getting me started as a homeschooler because it had everything. I wasn't left feeling like I needed to supplement in some way, or I needed to go find something else to go along with it because something was missing. It was really good about giving me directions. Like I said, there's an animal story each week. It has several pages on just giving directions on how to read stories and make it more fun for the kids and more interactive for the kids. And it's just great in that way. So it's really good at teaching kids directions through pictures. Like I said, even though they can't read, they're still reading the directions because they know the I means to look. So it's really good about stuff like that. Downside, it is 100% parent-led. The stuff is very, very short, so it's sometimes really hard to, okay, do this and let me walk away and go to the bathroom real quick, or let me go make lunch while you work on that, because all the activities are really, really short and one-on-one. So that can be frustrating at times. But there's lots of fun ways to reinforce the lessons. They do a really good job about whatever it is that they're learning in that particular pace or that story, of reinforcing it in other ways. So that's really good. And I'll try to find some examples to show you guys when I go over the paces specifically later. They have the materials list. So they have the list of materials at the beginning of each of these binders of what you're going to need for each lesson each week. So you can easily plan ahead if you're a planner. I really suck at that part. But you can, if you're a planner, plan ahead because it's all right there for you. Okay, you need a paper plate this week. You need some cling wrap. You need a little bit of yarn. So you have the full materials list ahead of time so you know what you need. Like I said, it is geared towards phonics, sounds, not letters or sight word memorization at this point in time, which I personally loved. I know it's different from what the public school does, so it's, what are you comfortable with? What is your objective in your homeschool? I think it works great as long as you use the kindergarten program along with their first grade program, which ties everything that they are learning in kindergarten together. I'm not sure how effective it would be if you, say, used this for kindergarten and then used something else for first grade. I feel like you almost need to use both of them together to get the most out of it. So first off, we have the word building paces. So like I said, there's 12 paces for every subject. We have word building. Now, what the word building covers is basically, these are your pictures. So as you're reading the story from the teacher's manual, you have the pictures that go along with the story. So if you have more than one kid, they're each going to get their own word building pace to follow along with that as you're reading the story. And then as they get later on, once they're learning their number recognition, they will, let me skip ahead a couple pages to show you. Still small. The numbers get bigger. So then you say, turn to page 16. And that gives them that reinforced practice of, what does the 16 look like? Okay, and then it's turn to page 17. So you tell them when to turn the page in the story. It tells you. And you can see it. So that gives them that practice. It gives them a little bit of control and responsibility, which they like, or at least my daughter likes. And then each pace covers 3 stories. So each pace is about 3 weeks, or it should be 3 weeks, I should say. And at the end of each pace, they have a test on everything that they've learned during the 3 weeks. So what that test looks like for word building is basically they're going to recount the story. What happened first in the story? What happened second in the story? What happened third in the story? But my daughter's really good about going back, and she can still tell you what happened because she loves these stories. And, you know, sometimes I'll be honest, I will sit there and finish reading the story after my kid is done with her lesson just because I don't want to wait till tomorrow to see what happens. So they're really good stories that they have. And they're colorful, they're bright, they're fun. Then after word building, they usually do English, okay? And like I said, it starts out very easy and basic. They usually get to color a picture of whatever animal they're learning. They color the letter. Sometimes they're going to cut it out and glue something on it, like, let's see. Oh, for K, my daughter had to glue on popcorn kernels because it had the K sound. So kernels. She glued the kernels onto the K, so that was exciting for her. But as you can see here, let's see. This is some of her work. This was the first pace. So this is beginning of kindergarten. It does get better. I promise it gets better. At least it did for us. But she was practicing learning green, and I don't quite remember what the directions were for this one, but she was practicing tracing triangle lines, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, and that triangle reinforced that A formation. So they're learning to form and trace the letters as well during this time. They just don't know that it's A. They don't recognize that it's A. They recognize that it's A. So let's skip ahead a couple of paces. Okay, so here's pace number 6. This is about halfway through the year. Here we go. This one is, they say the name of each picture, and this is for K, and they're gonna color the ones that have the K sound. So she would say kite, leaf, flower, and then she had to recognize that the kite said K, and then key, pot, top. Key says K. Sun, I think that was a dog, and king, so king says K. And see, so that was that directions. Let's see, here there's like a little story, and then you gotta color the K kites because those are the kites that Kiki Kangaroo likes. She likes K kites. Then it was, we go again, matching the Kiki Kangaroo with the K sounds. So it reinforces it. And they only do about 1 to 2 pages a day, and they don't even do every subject every day. Here, they're practicing tracing the lines. Again, there's a test at the end of the pace. These cover 3 different animals too. So With this one, it was sequencing, what happened first, second, third, what came first, second, and third. Well, first you had the tree, you got to pick the apples, and then you put them in the basket, and then you can make a pie with it, so on and so forth. That was sequencing. And then here we learned lizard, kangaroo, cockatoo. They had to match them to their letter, even though they don't know that, but they recognize that that symbol says oo or ka, and then match those animals to the sounds. So great at reinforcing it. So English covers, got my little cheat sheet. English is going to cover stuff such as visual perception, visual memory and recall, similarities and differences in objects, auditory memory, remembering what is heard. One of the things they did in the pages that my daughter absolutely loved, it was like put tape, glue, a paper clip, and a marker in a basket. And then you either turn around or you have the kid close their eyes and you take one of the things out of the basket, and then they circle that on their page because it already had those 4 things. And she just loved that. That was one of her favorite things. So that's the visual memory. They have the auditory memory, remembering what is heard, rhyming, motor skills, left and right, hand-eye coordination, let's see, sequencing, like I said, first, second, third, comprehension, comprehending spoken word, association, recognizing things that belong together, categorizing, breaking things into groups, and recognizing colors. So that's everything that is covered in English during the year. In science, I'm going to use our current science pace as an example for this one. Where is it? Here we go. So in our current science pace, we just learned yak today. So this is one of the first things they do, is I'm going to read her a paragraph telling all about real life yaks, okay, about their long hair and where they live and what a baby is called and what they look like. And then I'm going to ask comprehension questions. And then there's going to be like a short 2-sentence story about help the yak find its way to the snowy mountain. And then she's going to practice tracing it with her finger. And when in the beginning of the year she uses a marker. Now the last quarter of the year she uses a pencil. And we don't use markers anymore. But so it's teaching her that grip as well. That's one thing that she learned. But that's a lot of fun. So we do that. Then it was, okay, this one was a story about, it was really short. It's like a paragraph long. But Ace is one of the main characters. This guy right here, this is Ace. He's one of the main characters that repeats again and again in the stories. And this is his dog, Wags. So we know Wags is his pet. So in this pace, she's learning that about pets. A pet is your animal that you love and care for. And this is a stray. So we shouldn't touch or pet strays because they might hurt us and we don't know them and they don't know us. So it was, with your red crayon, cross out the stray, and with your other crayons, color Ace and Wags, or color the pet that was okay to touch, or color his pet, or color the safe animal. I don't remember. But that's just one of the things, is it's incorporating that socialization, the social responsibility. Let's see, this one talks about strangers. So again, stray dogs, strangers, and it told a little paragraph that you had to listen to, and then it was trace the line that leads to who Ace should ask permission before going and talking with another adult, or going off with another adult, something like that. So she had to trace the line to his parents because he can't go off with strangers without asking permission first. So that's kind of what science does. They have a test, okay? So for this one, it was, about the days of creation was part of their test. What was first, what was second, what was third. In science, they learn about creation and nature, and then seasons and weather, good habits and manners, health, nutrition, and safety. So strangers, safety, and then body parts and the 5 senses. With all of the science ones, they have these pages in the back that have a little house on it. So as you'll see, okay, these are really small. It's an orange number until they are expected to learn the numbers. You can see the number really small, okay? But, and then there's houses. So the house ones are basically extra busy work. If you think your child needs some extra practice and stuff. So here it would be to look, to draw, because that's a marker. Circle the tree that is different in row 1. Okay, circle the flower that is different. So they're recognizing what is different. Okay, here, this one's shapes. Circle the one that is different. And it gets a little harder as the paces go on, but you get the idea. It's extra practice reinforcing some of those skills. So like, here, this one gets a little more complicated. So this one's about classifications. Cross out the one that does not belong with the group. Well, these are all fish, and that one's a top, so that one doesn't belong. So it's just, like I said, they're really good about reinforcing what they're learning. So that was science. So social studies has your Bible stories, and they do a Bible story 2 days a week, and then another 2 days a week they review that Bible story. Okay, and that's on days 2 and 4 they get the Bible story, and on days 3 and 5 they review the Bible story. Sometimes that's with a craft, sometimes it's with a poem, sometimes it's with actions. It's different each time. And then it also has, besides the Bible stories, so here, let's see. So just like with word building, how you read and they follow along, social studies has the pictures for them following along, and this is the pictures for the story of creation, Adam and Eve. Okay, and then they have their other stuff that they're working on. So, pardon me. In social studies, they learn about family members. What is a father? What is a mother? What is a brother? What is a sister? Then they learn about personal responsibilities. They learn about relatives. What is a grandparent? What is an uncle? What is an aunt? What is a cousin? Then they learn about church leaders, and service and giving, and who's the pastor, and who's the secretary, who helps the pastor, and then deacons, and then school helpers. So they use the terms, they don't use the term teacher, they use the term supervisor, because that's what this program uses. You have supervisors in these Christian academies, and then the aides and so on, and the janitor, and then community helpers such as the garbage man or the dairy man or the farmer. And then they learn about foreign countries, people, and missions, and then some history in the end. Now this isn't all at once. This is the whole year. That's everything that is covered at different times. So some of the things that they do is, let's see, match them to the right home. And there's different directions that you read that go along with this. This is learning to stay in the lines. So as you can see, when she was first learning, she wasn't very good at connecting the dots and staying in the lines. But she did get better. And that's what it is. It's just practice. Here we have cutting and gluing. So there was a story, I don't remember what the story was, that went along with this, but then she had to cut out the shapes and put the shapes in the right spots. And this is learning about Mother's role. And I read a paragraph about what Mother did. Mother reads the Bible and irons Dad's shirt and loves Dad and uses the spoon to mix the batter to make the cookies and loves Christi. And then like you tell them at the right point in time what to do. So as you're reading, you're giving them directions. Okay, that's social studies. And I'll show you one a little bit further along, give you another idea. Let's see here. So in this one, she was learning about a farmer, and she was learning about types of foods, and so she had to draw 4 different vegetables. Now they all look the same, but she was telling me as she was drawing they were different. So I think that was a cucumber, and that was a tomato, and that was a there was a carrot, and that was broccoli, I think it was. So it's very funny trying to look back and remember that, and that wasn't so long ago. And then you still have your Bible stories, like this is the Bible story of Zacchaeus. And then Zacchaeus, he couldn't see, so he climbed a tree, and then Jesus went to his house, And then we learned about the grocery man. So we're learning about those community helpers. And we learned about the baker and what he did. And then see, what is the like here, listen, and then color. So where does the dairyman get milk? From the cow. What does the grocer put on his shelf? A can of food. What does the baker bake? He doesn't bake the steak, he bakes the bread. So it reinforces that stuff that they're learning. And they're super easy. You know, for you and I, you look at it and it's like, really? Really? That's so basic. Why? They're kids. They're 5 and 6. They don't know all this stuff. So it is a fun, easy way that they are learning this stuff. And last up we have math. Okay. So like I said, math, they're going to learn 0 to 100 this year. They're going to count by ones and they're going to count by tens. Okay. They are going to also learn to oral drill, recognize the numbers, association, so that they're going to recognize that 4 triangles goes with the number 4. They're going to understand proportions. This one's larger, this one's smaller. Terms. That 2 is more than 1. Smaller, larger, more or less. Sets. They're going to combine sets. So 2 blocks and 3 blocks makes how many blocks? So it's the basic foundation skills. Matching. Dog goes with doghouse. Glasses go with a pitcher. So that's the kind of things that they're learning in math. So at the beginning of the year, it's really simple. We're going to count. First, let's see. Find the hidden 2 in the picture and then trace it with your finger. Color. First you're going to count and then you're going to color. Find the hidden number. So you can see the hidden 3 on the rabbit, right? Okay, and then we're going to color that number. So there was 0 here, so we didn't color any. There's 1, so we're going to only color 1 wags. And it slowly builds on those skills. And just like science, they have your regular page numbers, and then it has your house pages. So this is your extra work. So extra practice for either at home, or if it's just something you feel like they need extra practice at. This one's just matching the numbers. So draw a line connecting the 0 and the 0. Color the 1 so that they get to do it again. Let's see. Here. This one they did a lot of these in the regular book, but then there was extra. So you color the number 4s and then it shows you the hidden 4. Okay. And then with all of these, like 5, and then it has 5 pictures of something. So, and then dot to dots. So, and then once you get later on, like here's the pace we just finished. She had to count by 10s for the dot to dot. Or, let's see, it started here, and she did, I think, 1 through 1 through 33, and then it was 34 through 66 on this dot to dot, and then it was 67 through 100 on this dot to dot. So the more she learns, the more it incorporates it and reinforces those skills. And you can see this is our last pace that we did. We're about 3/4 of the way through the year. This is pace 8. She's matching sets. So 3 circles is the same as 3 squares, or circle the set. So this is a set of fish. They all go together. This one has a bowl and silverware, so those don't all go together, so we aren't circling those. But that was the test. I read her a direction, and then she had to do it. Let's see. So there's that kind of stuff. And that's math and whatnot. I'm going to show you here 1 week. So this is Milton Mule. This is week 2. Okay, and in this, it's broken down by day. So as you can see, this is D1, so day 1, review, week 1, 1. So this is reviewing what she learned in week 1. So day 1 of each week is always a review. It's nothing new. They usually do Well, it has their daily stuff, like the flags and the pledge and the song. And as you can see, I highlighted like what I was going to say and what I was going to sing and what's in action. And I did that for the first couple of weeks, and then my highlighter started running out. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. I'll just read. And then it gives them a physical activity, and you can see that pink, that's where the restroom break is supposed to be. And it tells you what the worksheets are. So this was the worksheet, and it gave you the directions right here. So it says, matching visualized instructions. Say the meanings of the visualized instructions from left to right, such as listen, look, say. So it's telling me what to say going across here. And then this is the direction I'm going to read to her. With your finger, find listen on the left side of the page. Find listen on the right side of the page. Trace the dotted line from left to right, matching listen to listen. Now, with your red marker, draw a line from left to right, matching listen to listen. Then it says to continue steps B and C, making appropriate changes in wording for each of the other matching pictures. So it gives me everything that I need to say and I need to do for her. Everything that I need to read and whatnot. And it shows me what her page looks like. So I don't have to be right up on her in her book because I can see it in mine. And then it has different activities. Let's see, like here's the scripture verse. So that's everything that they would have memorized in week 1. But when you get to like several weeks in, it's like a little paragraph, it feels like. So that's why I don't do that one. Let's see, here. Let's see. So that was, I almost forgot. And then it also has these right here. So it has the Christian Mother Goose. Now, if you guys have not heard of this book is absolutely amazing. I don't think I had it for my son, or if I did, I didn't use it, but I used it with my daughter, and I love it. So all of those classic Mother Goose nursery rhymes that you know you love, they're in here, except they're Christian. So they are absolutely amazing. They're fun. They're cute, and it gives you different poems to say each week. You don't say it every day. You don't even say it on sometimes the same day, but they're so cute. Some of them are the same, like this one. I see the moon and the moon sees me. God bless the moon and God bless me. Okay, here's Humpty Dumpty. So Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty shouted, amen, God can put me together again. So it's that same classic rhyme, but just a little bit different to incorporate God. So even if you don't use this curriculum, this is an awesome book for any young child. The Big Book of Mother Goose's Christian Books. It's a really good book. Okay, so then we have practicing the letters every day. Okay, so that was day 1 stuff. Here's day 2. Okay, as you can see, day 2 always introduces the new animal. Week 2, day 2 introduces the new animal. It tells you early preparation if there's anything you need to get ready, any notes, opening activities, and it even gives you like a suggested time for it, which is great for a school setting, not so great for homeschool. I mean, let's be realistic. Kids don't always do everything when we want them to do it. There's different games to play. You review the letters each day. So what I did is so I told you that it comes with these display cards. I bought the first grade cards for my son, and these are the ones that my daughter uses, so I can leave those on the wall, and then she will trace these with her finger because it has the same picture as the other ones that are on the wall, but on the back it has the song lyrics, but these are the first grade song lyrics, not the kindergarten song lyrics, which are different because the stories are different. So don't feel like if you're going to do both programs that it's just going to be the same thing twice. It's not. They get a new story. It's the same animal, same sound, but new story, new song. Okay. Pardon me. So they're going to review their letters every day. They're going to meet the new animal. They're going to learn the animal song. And then they have the animal story. So this is the animal story. And as you can see, it's got in parentheses right there the page number, so it tells you when to tell the child to turn the page. And then you have your comprehension questions to ask the child, and it even gives you your answer. So if you missed it for some reason, which you really shouldn't if you're the one reading it, it gives you the answer. So like for this one, what was Milton Mule's baby sister's name? Her name was Mimi. But it gives the kids that opportunity to recall and remember. So, and then you have your English paces, and you review the letter sounds again, and then you have your Bible story, memory verse, science, sometimes art and a craft, social studies, so on and so forth. And then if there's anything that you need extra of, so for example, this day you're learning about those directions because it's only week 2. These are 2 of the directions that the kids learn in the book: to cut, to glue. So you have this, you go make copies of it, and then they color it and you put it on your board or whatever for them to review. And so on and so forth. And that's day 2. And it's like that every single, well, it's not the exact same every day, but they have their story. It has your directions for you, your different crafts. It tells you what to say for everything. And it's super easy to follow along. Like here, this one, front and back, you make a copy of that. They're going to color it. They're going to cut it out. You're going to put it on a sandwich bag, and you have a Milton Mule hand puppet on a brown sandwich bag. Okay, so yeah, and that's about 1 week. So it's really easy to follow. What I end up doing, or did, because I found very, very quickly that lugging this giant binder around and flipping to the pages that I need through all of this every day was really, really hard on the paper. So I stopped doing that. And what I do is, because the paces are 3 weeks long, covering 3 animals, 3 weeks, 3 stories, what I do is every time we're getting a new pace, I have 3 small binders. And I get out and I put 1 week in one binder, and then I put 1 week in another binder, and I have my 3 binders that I go through. And I take that flashcard and I put that right on the front, so I know which animal that is, so I can see which one's coming next. And it's really simple. You can't screw it up. Week 26, it tells you zebra, okay? And then you go through everything. You just do what it says. Now, like I said, my son made my life very difficult. I did not actually finish all of kindergarten with him. I want to say the last 4 or 5 paces we did not get through. We started the year late. He took forever, like something that was supposed to take an hour or 2 took like 6 hours. It was very rough starting to homeschool with him. My daughter is much easier. So I'm currently, I can say it now, I'm currently in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy, woo woo. But I'm a surrogate, so these thankfully are not my twins. But I spent a lot of time sick early on in pregnancy, and my husband's military, and he got stationed in Italy for a while, and there was a lot that happened this year. And after 4 years of homeschooling, I have realized there's a lot that happens every year. So the best of intentions don't always come to pass. So what I did with my daughter for catch up, I learned recently with her, she's really good at this. She likes school. She enjoys school much more than her brother ever did. So what we do is I can actually get through 2 or 3 days of school with her very quickly. And I wouldn't recommend this when you are first starting out in the program. Definitely go much slower then. But if you get to the end of the year and you're like, we're not going to finish, and I don't want to be doing this all summer, and you're a couple months out and you're like, I really need to catch up. Here's how we do it. Okay, so for day 1, it's a lot of stories that reinforce what they learned the previous week. I skip most of those with the comprehension questions and stuff. I do. I skip those. Depending on when I'm doing day 1, I may or may not reread the review for the previous animal, and sometimes I just skip and I do the worksheets. So we do the English, we do the word building test, we do the rhymes and the social studies and the quick reviews, and I can get done with that like a day 1, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because I'm skipping all the stories. I don't have to read everything. That's what sometimes takes the longest. And then we'll skip into the next animal. Okay, so we'll get started on that. So we started yak today. Very cute stories, by the way. And we did days 2 and 3. So we read the yak story, and then we learned the yak song, and we did the fun little yak poem, which has little motions about what a real yak does, like how their head hangs low, and they have a long bushy tail. We did the English pace, which was, the worksheets are so simple, guys, so simple. Draw your line from the bee to the flower. Draw a line from the bat to the ball and don't touch the walls, and then color the picture of the yak. And then you had your Bible story, which took a little bit. We skipped the scripture memory because we have Awana. We did a little science lesson. So like I said, it's got the paragraph of about the real life animal. And then it was the little maze of help the yak get to the snow mountain. And then we had the lesson about the stray dog versus a pet. And then don't talk to strangers and help Ace get to his parents. And then in social studies, it was a short little paragraph about what a doctor is, and then circle the things that a doctor would use and cross out the things that a doctor wouldn't use, and then a little thing about a nurse. And then we had, they're doing tongue twisters at this point in time. So like, Abby Antelope had an accident. Milton Mule made a mini mule. So you read them the tongue twister and they say it back. So we've got 25 of those. I do that. She likes those. Those are fun. And then we went in and we read the next part of the story, which is the day 3 part of the story. And we did the questions. And actually, later on in the year, so I told you they switched from markers to pencils, they also add in vocabulary drills. So what that is so we read this yak story, and then it has like 7 questions about words in the story, and you ask the kid if they know what it means, and if not, then you have a short little discussion about what it is. What does yakety yak mean? So it means to talk. What does bundle up mean? It means to dress warmly. And then so that's just a few examples of the vocabulary. And then you have your color the Y page. So they color the letter. So color the y sound yellow. Sometimes you glue stuff, sometimes you just color. And then I told her to draw a yo-yo on it too, because that has the y sound. Then it was an English sheet about which one had the y sound. Review of the Bible story. I skipped the review of the Bible story because we just read it. When you're doing it on the same day, I don't need to do it. There's no point reviewing what you just did. And then it was a math worksheet and review your letters and a Mother Goose poem. So altogether, doing 2 days took me about an hour with skipping all the extra fluff, skipping the memory verse, skipping the songs, skipping the craft and the review and that stuff. So if you have to, you can shorten this and still get the important stuff. They're gonna learn to recognize auditory animal sounds. So what I mean by that is, you ask them, listen to the word as I say it, and does it have the, for example, yeah sound. So yak reads yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me yes or no. Yellow, yellow. And she has to listen to hear if she hears the yeah sound. Or fox, fox. Well, fox obviously doesn't have it, but does she hear it or not? And then some weeks it asks, is that at the beginning? Is it at the end? Is it in the middle? Like we did ox last week. Well, the X sound is usually at the end or in the middle of the word. So it helped her recognize where the X sound was. And that's just one more example. And the later it gets in the year, it's incorporating and reviewing some of those old letters, such as tomorrow we're going to have, I'm going to say a word, and then she has to tell me which animal has that same beginning sound, like apple. So she'd tell me antelope, mother, mule. And she is recognizing those sounds. Even though she's not saying A or M, she recognizes where it goes. And that's the beauty of the phonics with this program versus the letter, is it really emphasizes that. So I think that is everything that I wanted to cover. This is much, much longer than I ever expected. I hope this was beneficial to some of you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment below. I will be happy to help, or if there's something I didn't cover that you would like to see or have covered, that you have more questions on, I'd be happy to help. I know this curriculum isn't for everybody. It is definitely a hands-on curriculum. It is a little bit of work, but I absolutely love this curriculum for kindergarten and first grade. I'm not a fan of the ACE for the later grades. I will save that for another video. But for kindergarten and first grade, learning to read, I think this program is wonderful. And I hope this video has helped some of you to make a decision, whether it's yes or no, as to whether or not this is the right fit for you and your family and your children. And I want to wish you the biggest of hugs and encouragement if you are just starting out on this homeschooling journey, or if you're looking for something new because you don't like what you used with one of your first kids and now you're trying to find something else. And I hope this was helpful. But God bless. Have a great night, and be sure to give me a thumbs up if you liked this. Hit the subscribe button below so you can see some of the other videos that I post on homeschool review and surrogacy and crafts and whatever else comes to mind. In the meantime, stay safe, y'all. Bye.